Mom, for 5. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The following is a behind-the-scenes look at a television production crew. It is not a production of PBS, Time Incorporated, or WGBH Boston. One morning in October 2008, I found myself in a Chicago neighborhood being fitted for a microphone hidden in my shirt.
Cameraman, no, don't be shy. He's directing. He's already directing.
7:45 a.m. Slater is getting wired for sound. We're listening to his lines everything. Once.
Furthermore, I was there with the production crew and host of the PBS television programs This Old House and Ask This Old House.
So, Slater, it's not often that I get to work with a rocket scientist. But Kevin, I'm just a middle school teacher. If you are the guy...
I am a middle school teacher, specifically a technology teacher. I try to open lots of doors, so to speak, with my students. They can make an eclectic range of hands-on projects, from airplanes that really fly to transistorized lie detectors, to real steam engines for boats from recycled aluminum cans, and more. Nobody likes to be bored, so among the other projects, I try to give my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students an early start in video production.
I've actually never done it before. I was really nervous. But
We cover school events and sports I emphasize editing because it's a powerful tool and few people know how to do it. I also run a non-commercial website called sciencetoymaker.org. One of the projects on the site is a water rocket launcher made from common plastic pipe and other cheap construction materials that launches beverage bottles filled with water and under pressure. The Science Toymaker rocket design caught the eye of the producer of Ask This Old House, the PBS program. Normally, Ask This Old House is about house renovation, construction, landscaping, that sort of thing, with a personal touch. They come right to your house, and once a year, they have a kids special. They use construction materials to make projects for younger folks. Of course, kids help make the projects. So I was to help a family of do-it-yourselfers make a water rocket launcher, and this was to be videotaped for an Ask This Old House segment. The shoot was in Chicago, so I flew from my home in rural upstate Pennsylvania. Ask This Old House is based near Boston, so they flew into Chicago too. I knew that working with the professional crew was going to be a terrific learning experience, so I brought along a camera. We worked in the backyard of 4 delightful children: Micah, Evie, Josh, and Josie. Their parents, Chris and Chrissy, kindly shot some footage when I was occupied.
And action, Slater.
And we need a second piece that's 18 inches long. And Evie, what's 18 plus 2? Can you mark it at 20? The third piece? Third piece is 7.
We'll start with the most visible position.
Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, host of This Old House and Ask This Old House.
I'll pull it a little higher. There you go.
Aside from the presence, delivery, and other skills of an actor, the host of Ask This Old House has to explain to a television audience what's going on. I will be forever in his debt because Kevin would ask me questions that would help me remember what I was supposed to say.
And you've got the proud part facing in, so it grabs the lip of this bottle?
That's right.
He was very funny all the time.
I got $20 if he gets it in that left window.
The principal's looking right at you.
You always do this with an adult.
And you always point it straight up, not at your brother, okay?
A TV crew must have a camera person.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve D'Onofrio. I'm the cameraman for This Old House and Ask This Old House. And we have a lot of fun shoots. We go a lot of different places, and we just we capture as many things as we can, always with one camera. Now this is a very special camera. First of all, when I'm shooting, this device is a video transmitter. What it allows is the director and other people to hold a hand monitor, and they can see everything that the camera sees. So while I'm shooting, they can follow what I'm following. And then if we have to play back a take, they can watch that as well. Now next to it, it's called time code. And what time code does is these numbers, 4 means we have tape 4 in here. We're at 17 minutes, 19 seconds, and 16 frames. We get 30 frames for every second. So there's another member of my team who has a board, and he looks and he can tell the editor exactly where on the tape that particular scene is starting. We just got through shooting a very fun and exciting scene, and that's the out point of that scene. Now if we go to the back of the camera, this is the receiver for audio, for microphones. We always have wireless everything, so we don't have any cords being, any leashes tied to anyone. This can hold 2 microphones, so we have 2 people going into here, and then this receiver is a third receiver because we had 3 microphones going. So we have 2 and a third microphone. And then this device allows everyone, the director and the rest of the crew, to listen to all of the audio from the camera. So everyone has a small headset, they can hear everything come out of the camera, they can see everything coming out of the camera, and that's how we produce our show. Now the cost of all this, it's pretty expensive. It costs probably as much as more than your parents' automobile. So pretty expensive, but this is how we shoot This Old House.
I can only add that the camera must be really heavy, and yet Steve's agility, as he'd go in for a tight shot, follow the action, and then go back out for a wide shot, was remarkable, like the camera was part of his body.
Hey, my name's Surfer Dave Williamson. I work on movies, TV shows. I'm a grip and electrician. It means I set up the lights, put flags in front of the lights, and do all that good stuff. So, nice to meet you.
Did you get that? A grip usually sees to the lights, and Surfer Dave took care of that in the afternoon shoot of the basement flood control system. But here the light was pretty good, so he held a boom-mounted microphone just out of sight of the camera to pick up all the sounds of the kids and adults in the group. Everybody knows that a director says action to start a scene.
Everyone get ready for Kevin, and action please.
All right, who wants to fire off some rockets?
Me.
If only that was all there was to it. But in fact, a director deals with dozens of details simultaneously on the fly to pull off each scene.
Good morning, I'm David Voss. I'm going to direct the show today, which means I'm going to try and herd all these cats. We've got, well, we've got a lot of people. We've got a scientist, we've got a TV host, we've got a family with 4 kids and 2 parents, and mostly we don't want to confuse anybody. We want to teach you how to make these rockets, how to have fun, and hopefully to blow one up. But it's to get us through and work with the cameraman, work with the lighting, and cheerlead everybody. Just keep it together and have a lot of fun today.
He makes sure that all the information is covered, no gaps.
What we do when we freeze, Dino will move the camera around and then we'll say, okay, now we go again.
But he has to balance that with the amount of time available. The dialogue and the visuals must be lively, and the scenes flow logically and smoothly from one to another. After a while, I noticed a pattern. At the beginning of each scene, David listened to input from the rest of the team, and from me, because I knew the sequential steps of building the water rocket launcher. Then it was like his vision of the scene would crystallize. he would jump into action, and I would listen carefully to him and make sure I understood my
Before
part.
we glue, we actually have to clean it up with this purple primer, purple stuff.
Purple primer.
Purple primer.
Before we glue, we actually have to clean it. For that, we use this purple primer. So
And where's the camera going
it's going to be right where I stand.
Okay, so
Josh,
maybe Josh wants to be over near the
I think it's pretty good right there. I think
is that right?
Yeah.
Well, is he going to reach? Okay.
He'll have
that's fine.
some. He'll have some on there already.
Okay.
When I mangled my lines, which I did reliably,
We'll do it again. We'll do it. It's okay. It's okay.
David was always encouraging.
Walk into it, okay, Slater? Very nice. Start gluing the launcher together. When I say action, Michael will kick it once, and then Josh starts counting. Ready, Micah? Ready, Josh? And go.
As a disorganized person, I can only marvel that there are actually organized people in the world as well.
Hi everybody, my name is Heath Rosella and I'm the production coordinator on This Old House and Ask This Old House. My job is, as we're in the field, I'm watching and listening everything we do with a wireless video monitor and wireless audio as well. I don't have my headphones on right now, but I'm making notes as we go of every single scene that happens. This board sends time code wirelessly from the camera. When it's rolling, I'll see a number on here and it'll show me exactly where on every single tape we are. So I'm writing hand notes as to the location and scene of each take. I put that into a computer, and our editors do what's called digitizing the footage, and they only take the good stuff, so they don't have to sit there and watch hours of tape and say, was that good, was that bad? This way they just see the good takes, and then with that they can go in and manipulate all that media and, you know, make our story that we want to tell. The other big thing is we only have so little time for each episode. It's about 23 minutes on PBS. So I'm timing everything with a handheld stopwatch and get a rough idea of what the running time is of each segment. We usually do about 8 to 12 minutes in the field, and then we'll fill in the rest in our studio, so we have a full 23 minutes. And as we go, I have to do math. So it's a stopwatch, but it's also a calculator. So if we had an 11-second scene and a scene that was 2 minutes and 58 seconds, I know I've got 3 minutes and 9 seconds so far in the piece. I can add, subtract, do all sorts of math with it. I can count up and count down as well. So it's really important to be organized and to know your math. That's what my job is all about. It's the glory of working on This Old House. We're a group based in Boston. We're in Chicago just for a day or two, so we rented a minivan. We need to put all our lights in these portable cases so they don't get broken at security. And then we basically do everything out of this van. We work out of it, we keep all of our equipment in it, we keep our suitcases in it when we're not at the hotel, so all our clothing and everything is with us. And then at the end we take it back, return it, put all these on a plane and go back home. It's a lot of fun.
Heath does indeed know how to have fun. That's him clowning around in the Halloween wig. In fact, the whole crew.
Josefina with the green glasses, get over here. Let's go, Joe.
They seem to laugh and have a lot of fun.
Do you have a song picked out? We always start with a song, maybe a soft shoe. Could you pull the other end out of the Slater, please?
Yet when the tape rolls, they're completely engaged in their work. I saved the producer for last because I spent the most time with him and learned the most from him.
So my name is Chris Wolf. I'm the producer of Ask This Old House, which is a television show on PBS. And I'm driving with Slater Harrison right now to scout a location that we are going to shoot tomorrow morning for the TV show. It's about 5:30. We're going to go make sure that we have everything prepared for the shoot that we're doing tomorrow. A lot of people ask me, what does a TV producer do? And there's no short answer to that, but there are a lot of things that have to happen behind the scenes to actually get to the point where you can make a TV show. So I spent a lot of my time picking the story ideas that we're going to cover on the show, finding the right people to appear on camera, making sure that we have all of the right materials and props and tools ready to go, and then making sure that we've got the right crew, the right cameraman, the right production assistant, making sure that lunch arrives on time and everybody's well fed. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I definitely have a lot of help doing that, but ultimately it's my responsibility to make sure that we are as prepared as possible for the shoot.
So the producer has the freedom to make macro decisions, like a segment about a water rocket. Or lobby to devote a whole episode to kids stuff. However, he then has the responsibility to nail down all those pesky micro details that actually make it happen. Here's what he said about pursuing a career in the industry.
So sometimes people ask me, how do you break into television? How do you get into television? And the amazing thing is, there is a list at the end of almost any TV show or any film. There's a list of the people that made that TV show or that film. And not only is it a list of people, but there's a list of their jobs. And when you look at the credits of a TV show or a film, look at it carefully. And if you are at all interested in working in television or working in film, find out what does a best boy do? What does a gaffer do? What does somebody who does craft service do? What does a director do? There's those titles are right there, and you can watch any film or any TV show and look at that. And it's important to realize too, the people that you see there, those are regular people. These aren't, they've had some training and they have some unique skills that they've learned, but these are jobs that are available to anybody that wants to really dedicate themselves to that field. So learn more about it, and just know that if you put yourself in the right situation and you're willing to learn, you can absolutely learn more about it and possibly do it as a career. I'm certainly glad I did.
The relationship between the producer and the director was particularly interesting. For example, Chris the producer wanted math and science concepts sprinkled throughout the segment. David the director was concerned about the time constraints, but they came to a balanced solution between them. There's an expression, the whole is more than the sum of the parts. It's almost like 1 + 1 + 1 equals 10. It might not make sense numerically, but it does make sense in teamwork. Everyone on the team spoke their mind, and there were disagreements, but they also listened to each other, and there was mutual respect. It wasn't as if one person had all the answers. Here's Chris again with a funny pizza story.
So a lot of people don't realize everything that goes into making a TV show or even a TV commercial. I worked on a lot of TV commercials before I ended up working on this show, and one of my first jobs in television was as a production assistant for a Papa Gino's pizza commercial. So Papa Gino's is a pizza place like Pizza Hut or Domino's, and the shot that you see in every pizza commercial is where the one slice of pizza comes out of the pie, and the cheese stretches and the steam kind of comes off of it, and the crust flakes just right. In order to get that shot, it required a team of about 30 people. There was a hand model who had a freshly pressed shirt over his arm. He was actually holding the spatula and removing it. There were about, I would say, probably 50 different pizzas that were being made at all times during the day. When the right pizza was ready, it would be rushed out to the set, and it would be placed down, and the director would yell action. They would go over the top of the pizza with a heat gun so that the cheese was completely melted. They'd go over the top of the pizza with a steamer so that there would be steam that barreled off of it. And there wasn't enough time for the guy who was doing the steaming to get completely out of the shot, so he had to duck behind the counter, the kitchen counter. And later, when I was watching this commercial on TV, I remember thinking, I know there's a guy in that kitchen counter right now. Everyone else watching this commercial at home had no idea, but I knew that there was a guy crouched on all fours, hiding down there, hoping that he got his hand out of the shot just in time. And I'll never watch TV commercials the same. My job in all of this was for probably 10 hours one day was to wipe off the spatula between takes and make sure that the spatula was gleaming for each shot and ready to go. So that's depending upon the job, that can be what a production assistant does on a TV commercial.
Aside from the humor in Chris's story, the underlying truth will resonate with my middle school students. They're less likely to be passively overwhelmed by the power of television advertisements because they've actively manipulated video. They know it's not all real. In addition to being more media savvy than average, people who work with video understand the creative potential. If they're willing to learn the skills and put enough time and work into it, they can lead their video projects to wherever their imaginations go. I hope that people who've begun to discover video will broaden their view as they see how a professional crew operates. The talent, camera, grip, director, production coordinator, and producer band together to create something greater than any individual could. From here, the raw video goes to post-production. It will emerge and air in February on PBS 5 months after the initial taping. I think these guys plan ahead. By the time the editors are finished, a whole morning of production will be winnowed down to 8 minutes for the water rocket segment.